Ghost Cult Magazine is joined by the guys from Solar Haze. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Thank you
Doing
for
good.
having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing?
I am swell. Thanks. End of the week, TGIF and all that. And thank Gandalf it's Friday. And
Yes,
yeah, man.
sir.
the brothers Ryan and Steven. Yeah, man, Solar Haze new EP coming out. And super stoked. That's Metal Assault Records, a label I know very well and has been repping awesome bands for a long time.
They have
And
indeed.
obviously, before we unpack this stuff and talk a little bit of band history and things like that, I just hope generally you guys are well. It's been a rough time, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel personally, and in the scene and the industry too. So hopefully, you guys and are solid right now, and your family's
Yeah,
good, and everything's right.
Yeah, man, everything's good. We're
absolutely.
starting to slowly get things started up again. So shows are
Yeah,
coming back.
shows are coming back. We're probably going to be touring, early 2022. Hopefully, that's a dream. But we hope that everything's going well with, you and your family and friends too.
Thank you. Ghost Cult is a worldwide organization, and we have people everywhere, and it's been a tough time. For
Hmm.
we're no strangers, and like outside of the music business, obviously the whole world has been like, whoa,
Yeah.
wrecked. So
Yep.
like we're all coming through this thing very strangely and collectively, and I'm hopefully sort of cautiously optimistic that it's going to be all good.
Hmm.
America seems to be ahead of the rest of the world in some of this shit. I was a little even surprised at how many festivals and tours got announced right away and booked.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So credit to people's band managers and clubs
Yeah.
and venues, and
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, you can't like ignore the fact that it's just like some people are not here anymore. Some people lost their whole careers. Bands have broken up. Labels have gone under. Venues have closed. So I'm hoping on the flip side, I'm seeing like a mass enthusiasm for these shows and these records and all these little underground scenes that make me really happy.
Yeah, that's one thing we wanted to do for sure during this time when everything was kind of like slowing down. We didn't want to just not do anything and just sit on our hands. So we said let's make this record, let's do something so when hopefully all this is over, we have something to have for people, and it all came
Yeah,
out at the right time. So
it's
we
kind
got
of funny
lucky.
too because it was it kind of just happened by chance. We weren't planning on doing a EP. The whole idea we would just start on our second album. And then the pandemic happened and we needed to fill out some space and the label asked us to do an EP. So we got it done. And this guy right here wrote most of the songs, so it just worked out perfectly.
Right on. That's good. Keep what like I say very often. I'm sure our viewers are tired of hearing some of these things from me, but I do sound like a broken record. Anybody who felt like they couldn't work during the pandemic, feel like not creative, the world is messed up, there's a lot going on, whatever it is in the world, I can't function, no problem. I certain people need to take a respite from
Hmm.
from the world, from work,
Hmm.
from the create. If
Yeah.
creativity is not fun and you don't feel like it's a good time for fun, then take a break. That's always what I
Yeah.
say. But at the same time, anybody who spent this time like you guys working on new music, being creative, thinking about the next thing, I appreciate that too, because right now this is what we need. We need riffs, and we need beats,
Yeah.
and we need songs, and we need cool, spaced out jams so we can just kind of heal and move forward.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. We do it for people like you who just want to hear the music just for the sake of hearing music. We just have fun with it.
Word. How did you so a lot of bands with brothers. How did you guys get started just in general playing music?
Ryan started playing guitar first when we were like in middle school,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. They would go to Vegas all the time, and then one summer he just came back with a guitar, and he was playing like Iron, like beginner versions of Iron Man, Smoke on the Water. I
Yeah.
was all like, "What is he doing? How's he doing that?"
Yeah, and
So
then Steven picks it up like very quickly after I did, and our neighbor he taught us how to play Misfit songs on the guitar, and it jumped from us jamming together to jamming with our friends, and eventually like by the time we were in high school, it was kind of like pre Solar Haze days, so it was mostly just like a jam thing that kind of just like turned into this.
all right, word. A lot of bands have brothers. Some are awesome, STP, Pantera, rest
Hmm.
in peace, Van Halen brothers, Rest in peace, Eddie.
Yeah.
And some bands are like Oasis and they want to freaking kill each other.
Only sometimes.
How would you deem your relationship in regards to the band and the work? And do you guys have like bad days, good days, or you just generally chill?
Oh yeah, for the most part, it's chill. But there's definitely days, when we're writing songs, we're working on something, and everyone's irritated at each other. But for the most part, it's good. We have a good relationship.
Yeah, and when we were younger, we got a lot of that, like, that energy out of fighting with each other. We kind of learned how to work with each other, work around like our sensitive spots when we were in like high school, college. So now, it's very balanced.
All right, word. I love, unity is what you need, especially in this business and when it comes to, creative endeavors. And then so how did you guys connect with Ross and like how did the sort of the genesis of the post high school college Solar Haze come about?
So before we were in Mia and Ryan, well, we were in Crimson with our friend David, who played drums, and then one day he left his drum set at our house for the weekend, and then out of nowhere Ryan started playing drums, and we're like, wait a minute, Ryan's kind of playing drums better than the drummer right now.
Yeah, it was just
so it kind of started phasing where Ryan started playing drums, and then it was me, Ryan, our friend Adrian. He was there for a while, and he left the band, and Ryan went to tour in Russia with the singer to open up for Taria. And when he was there, he's like, hey, there's what was the band called?
There was a band called Crimson Blue. Like, there were just so many bands called Crimson, I realized we had to change the name. We already had a song at this point called Solar Haze, so I just said, fuck it, like, that's a sick band name. We'll call it Solar Haze. And, the guitarist from that tour jumped into Solar Haze, and he was in the band for a couple of years, and we met Ross when we were playing a show.
We were just a two-piece because we couldn't find anyone, so we're like, let's just keep playing shows. We can't sit around doing nothing.
We played as a two-piece for a while, for a couple of years, and we were just having fun, doing our thing. And Ross and his bandmate Jason, who also played in Solar Haze, they happened to be playing a show with us, and we were the last band, so they stuck around to check us out. We struck up a friendship, and our bands would play together for a couple of years. And after a while, him and Jason kind of jumped ship over to Solar Haze. So that lineup stuck for a couple of years. Jason moved on to different things, and then now it turned into the trio that we have now with me, Steven, and Ross.
Right on. And before I unpack this EP a little bit more, because I've been jamming it, just in general, this genre, right? Southern California, stoner rock, desert rock, if you're European, Ghost Cult we actually started as a zine specifically to cover like Roadburn and Desert Fest in Europe. Nice. And I took it over and we became like kind of what we are now, where we're like a little bit of everything but rock, stoner, doom, thrash, death metal, whatever. But this has always been like riffs are my home. These bands are some of my favorite bands. So like obviously location wise, clearly if you from the Western United States, this music just gets into you. But like for you guys, what was that first like band like? Or what was that first? Was there a first show? Was there a first record? A first riff? What was it like for you guys?
Well, I think with us, it was Iron Maiden. That was our first band. We grew up with. Our dad would always play Kiss, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, and we loved that. We fell into that big time. But in 2005, our first concert was Ozfest, and we saw Iron Maiden, play with Black Sabbath, Slipknot, and that was our first like, holy shit, like this playing live thing, like there's some magic to it. As a kid, seeing Iron Maiden playing and seeing Eddie come up on stage, like that's a whole different thing, especially as your first concert. So that was really what kicked it off for us, was seeing Iron Maiden back in 2005.
Yeah, it's funny too, because that's when I graduated 8th grade. So my dad kind of gave me the option whether to see Danzig, and that's when Doyle was coming out and doing the Little Misfit set with Danzig. So it was all like Danzig and Doyle or Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. Was like, you know what, let's go with Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. So who knows what would have happened if we went to the other concert.
Yeah, right.
That's funny. Ozfest 2005 is very distinct because that's the Iron Maiden gets egged by people.
That was so intense watching it live. I was like, what is going on right now? Does this happen at concerts all the time?
Hearing like the amps, like the PA getting cut out.
Dude, they kept turning off. And Phantom of the Opera was my favorite song at the time. Still is my top Iron Maiden song, but right when they're getting to the nearly, like to the high part, once crescendoing, boom, PA just goes off. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, that was crazy as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Ozzy and I appreciate Sharon for what she has done for him, but not their finest moment in life.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I understand it was beef. I had seen Ozfest on the East Coast, that same Ozfest, and Bruce was talking shit every show.
That's what they're
no
saying.
question.
No,
talking a lot of shit.
he wasn't saying Ozzy, but he was pretty much insinuating it.
Yeah, he was dogging the Osbourne show and other things. And
Mhm.
I don't know if they were being treated bad beside that, but like I'm sure when they signed on to do this, first of all, you can't follow Iron Maiden. That's just it doesn't matter. I love Black Sabbath forever.
Yeah, there was a different vibe for sure.
But you just can't, it was just kind of like night and day. So that's really interesting that happened to you. Yes, obviously, if you had seen Danzig, maybe you'd be doing a lot of whoas and wearing like see-through fishnet shirts. And,
Yeah,
fuck, should I do it?
going all over the internet and flagging people for sharing your videos and songs.
Yeah.
I love Danzig too. I make terrible movies.
Yeah, I love Danzig.
But yeah, man, it's all good. Yeah, it's just I find, whenever I meet a band from this region and this is the music they make, it's like, oh yeah, of course. There's, it's either big heavy metal or it's something really like micro, like a small band. LA, San Diego, Desert Palm area, it's just for whatever reason, just culturally, I just think like this is what happens to everybody. It either hits you early or it hits you later. Yeah. Kind of like the good weed. When does it hit you? Right. But it's like when do you come around to the riffs, right? So that's for me the same kind of thing. Or like there's exceptions, obviously, and then a lot of great bands in Europe. But so we have Solar Haze. First album was killer a couple of years back. You guys apparently working on a second one. But yeah, man, I really like the Solar Haze. It's a fun EP. I kind of like the middle song the most. The slow, heavy one is kind of more my jam. But I dig the whole thing, and I just I don't know if it seems like there's a concept there. I didn't want to pry too much, but now that we're chatting, let's open it up a little. What's the story behind this album?
This EP is the whole idea is, it kind of just worked out perfectly because we were planning the second record. We were going to start like recording demos for the second record. And it's, we're really going for a big concept with that one. And the EP hit, this whole situation happened. And we kind of came up with the idea of like doing a lead in to the big conceptual second album. So this EP is like a soft concept album. The third song is really where like the big concept is leading into the second album, because at the end of the third song, it goes into the whole like oceany, like really like Pink Floyd-y stuff. And that is intended to be a lead-in to what is happening with the second album. This big ocean theme. It's very like, Macedonian, like Leviathan type stuff. But right here is just like us dipping our toes and like exploring the whole concept of what we're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah, because a lot of the second album, like 45 to 60% is already there. So we already know the overall theme. So we were thinking, oh, why don't we because I kind of wanted to take the idea from like the MCU, like Marvel Comics, or like everything is kind of connected to each other. Like there's an overall story in between everything, and you kind of want to like so for this, since this is linked to the second, when you hear the second one, now you'll go back and be like, oh, wait a minute, were they referencing this in this song to this album? Like stuff like that. So we just wanted to make it so everything is like kind of connected together and there's an overall story.
Yeah, like that whole at the end of the third song, that whole like little Pink Floyd-y type breakdown, that's like in our eyes, that's like a Marvel Universe after credit scene.
Yeah, that's how we describe it. That's the end credit scene.
You're getting hints at what's gonna happen with the next big movie,
That's awesome. We're gonna need Easter egg videos to break this all down. As Solar Haze, Kevin Feige's this bitch into
what did Solar Haze mean by that song?
Right. What's going on? 13 theories about the end of Black Widow.
Exactly. Anyway. That's what we want. That's what we want. People talking about it, saying what they think everything means. So cool stuff.
Yeah, and in the future, like when all our material has come out and you can kind of look back at all of it and see how it all connects, it'll be a little bit rewarding for the listeners too, in a different way.
Awesome. I'm here for it, man. I love this kind of stuff. I imagine this is going to permeate artwork, lyrics, everything.
Yeah, like everything, like the artwork, everything's connected.
Yeah,
it's every level.
Yeah. So you see it on the cover of the EP, the whole ocean theme, and
it's kind of connecting the first album with the pyramids, and then it's the same figure in the sky. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like that bridge,
exactly.
like literally that bridge in between the
Yeah,
two
and like
albums.
there's the Colts on the cover of the EP, which is kind of hinting at what's gonna happen in the
The
next
third
album.
album. Fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
We're stretching it all the way out to the third album. We're
we
planning
have like
for
the first, we have the three albums, like the overall story for the first three albums like planned out pretty well.
That's amazing. I'm a humongous Pink Floyd fan, so I'm all again. This is my alley.
There we go.
This is my wheelhouse. This is great.
That's what's up.
I was gonna say you're gonna bug some people out with these pyramids because now that we got the government admitting that there's aliens, that next logical step is the pyramids.
Yeah, and that's
Exactly.
like covered in the EP too, like government, like conspiracy, and like them hiding all that stuff. So it just the timing is perfect. The solar age is here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Word. I love it, man. And then so you guys have plotted this stuff out. Obviously, discussed it a lot. Maybe I don't know if it's something like spoken and discussed, or is it just kind of we're making up stuff as we go?
We've
It's
been
80-20. Like most of the time, we've like talked about the grand things, and then sometimes things come up, and we're like, oh, that'd be cool to add this to this, But for the most part, it's like we talk about it pretty frequently.
Yeah, for the better part of the last decade, we've been like, since me and my brother were in the garage playing in our parents' garage as fucking high schoolers and in college, we were kind of setting the foundation for this whole concept we wanted to do in the future. And it just so happened when we got signed to Metal Assault and like we had a multi-record deal, we sat down and we thought like, it kind of, the timing is perfect that we can do what we've been planning. So it just worked out,
Any plans to incorporate any other instruments like synths or anything? Because it just feels like that's the next logical thing.
There's we're always trying to add stuff, but there's actually a synth at the end of the Terror.
The
So
third song
you could kind of hear it.
But yeah,
acoustic.
It can go anywhere, especially with the third album, because the second album we have mostly planned out. The third one, we're still messing around with the concept. But I do like the whole idea of how Pink Floyd, sometimes during their recording sessions, they would kind of just like go to guitar stores. They would just grab instruments. They would spend entire days in studio just like seeing what different things sounded like. And that's the recording process I would like to go down in the future, is just seeing what works, seeing what we could do,
I love the adventurous spirit. We don't get a lot of that anymore. And I love how wide open you guys are to possibilities. That's great. You don't see it often. And a lot of people are very cynical, like you might have some talent and you might like a genre of music enough to want to have a band. But, some people are just very too cynical to be that creative. So I really, I dig this a lot.
Yeah, we appreciate the sentiment a lot too. We appreciate that a lot.
Were you guys big into comic books? Obviously, we're talking about sci-fi and nerd stuff and superhero stuff, but do you guys also dig comics?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan was the first comic man.
Yeah, actually, when we were kids, our dad worked at Warner Brothers, and he would bring home like goodie boxes a lot of the time filled with comics and toys.
Yeah, so DC comics and stuff.
Yeah, so we were exposed to DC comics as kids a lot, and it just like stuck with me. I love comics.
One of the comics I always remember, because he brought it, and it was like the first holographic comic I saw, the Green Lantern Funeral.
Oh yeah.
And I would just stare at that all the time. I was like, what? I'm like, Green Lantern died.
And we still have it.
We still have it. So it's cool.
It's so sad that they can't get the Green Lantern right in any other medium.
Yeah, right. I feel
like so sad.
If DC can like kind of just open up in the way Marvel has with just being creative, then they could totally pull off Green Lantern stuff. I love it. I love the lanterns.
They can't even get the Batman right. I have low hopes.
I'm
a Marvel guy, and I also like other things, Image Comics and IDW and stuff like that. But that Wonder Woman movie was so terrible. I don't even want another one. Yeah. And I love Wonder Woman, and I love Patty Jenkins as a director. And it's like, I don't know why they made her make that movie for it to be horrible and terrible and not any. No, like I was like, I would rather watch Dark Phoenix again than watch this.
Yeah, I guess, man. There's a lot of like lack of guidance in what's happening with DC, and it's just sad to see because there's so much potential for so many good stories, and they're just dropping the ball at every single step.
And then it's like Marvel can do no wrong. Everything they do is great and nothing. I was sure by now they were going to have like a bomb or a dud, or even they found a way to even take the movies people didn't like and make them important within Endgame, right? Like How do you take the second Thor movie and the Ant-Man movie and make them really important when people
Yeah,
were like,
exactly.
I don't like those that much.
Yeah,
So,
you know, they can go ahead and like they could pull properties out of the gutter, like Shang-Chi. You know, Shang-Chi, that movie, it's gonna be like a big anchor in what they're doing with the
Yeah.
rest of the universe. So it's and then back with Guardians of the Galaxy, nobody knew who they were when they announced that movie, and look at that, it's huge.
I could not believe that movie succeeded so well, and I love that movie.
I
And
don't know.
love
It's
the
like it's
cast.
just a good sci-fi movie in general. Like even if it's not a
Mhm.
Marvel movie, it's just a pretty good
Yeah,
sci-fi
it
in
could have
general.
worked. You could have took out the MacGuffin stones or whatever, and it
Uh,
still would have
Yeah,
worked
that's
out.
what I've been
yeah,
good.
Great
exactly.
cast. Pratt is funny. You
Uh-huh.
know, good stuff, man. I love it. I love nerding out with you guys. What other stuff have you guys been into during this period of time beside writing music and plotting world domination
Plotting world
through
domination.
riffs and stories?
Well, you know, actually, we've been delving into like the nerd hole a bit deeper. We've been playing a lot of the Dragon Ball Super card game. That's been taking up a lot of our time lately. So you know, playing
Yeah.
cards. And this guy, he just went to a tournament yesterday. Like, so
Yeah, we're a little too deep in the rabbit hole.
yeah, exactly.
Going
Doing
from
local
Magic to
tournaments.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah, exactly. So we've
Well,
been
because
doing that. You know,
I
a lot
remember
of
a
our
long
time.
time ago, Gypsy Hawk, when we were like stalking them all the time, we knew that they played Magic. And we were on vacation one day, like in Crescent City. It was a family vacation. And we were at Walmart, and we saw like a 2-player starter pack for Magic. Like, hey, isn't this what Gypsy Hawk plays? Like, we should learn how to play this in case we go on tour with them. And we could play
Yeah,
Magic. So that was our first like card game experience. Like what, 8 years, like years and years ago.
yeah, and we revived that during this pandemic.
Yeah, so we got that card game itch again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
lot of people are playing card games,
Dude, the
and
market is
D&D
crazy
has
right
taken
now.
off. I never thought
Mhm.
D&D was going to be as bigger now than when I was in high school. I definitely would not have put money on that. I should
Oh,
have
it's
did the
big
Marty
now.
McFly and bet, went back in time in a time machine and punch into 88 and took the sports almanac, but like I didn't. I was like, nah, there's no way people are still going to be playing this game in 30. And I love me some D&D growing up, but I was like,
Uh-huh.
there's no way people are going to be this dedicated to this shit. Oh yes, they are. Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
they are.
People love using their imagination. It's timeless, you know.
Even like you see that celebrity D&D club, where like all these famous nerd celebrities get together and they have like
That's crazy.
crazy D&D nights and stuff. I
Yeah,
can't
Vin
remember who
Diesel,
it is.
Vin Diesel for sure plays D&D.
Yeah, there's a couple people. I got. Why'd I even bring it up if I can't remember who's in it?
Right?
There's some big celebrities in there. Look it up.
Yeah, Vin Diesel. That's insane. That's a guy who's rich and gets laid by models and actresses.
Exactly. So
See,
he could just play D&D and not give a shit,
don't
right?
be scared, guys.
Exactly. He can do it because it's a great game and he loves it.
Exactly, exactly.
Amazing stuff, you guys. Just really glad to connect with you, talk about this new EP. The Solar Age is here, or it's coming very soon on Metal Assault Records, July 16th. And I just wish you guys a lot of success. I hope you get this second record. It sounds like not much touring planned between now and the next record, but if you do get out on the road, we'll keep everybody posted with the
Yeah, we
dates
have
and-
a show August 11th or 12th,
12th.
August 12th in Anaheim at the Doll Hut with Void Vator and Old Blood and Black Mercy
Mercy
Riff, I
Riff.
believe. So yeah, we're slowly starting to get back out there. I had to start doing cardio and exercising again. So when I'm up on stage, I'm
Exactly.
not freaking dying
Get
on
strong
stage.
again.
Yeah, I gotta get these lungs going again.
But we are a touring band, that's what we do. So we will be on tour as soon as it's available to us. It's just a matter of when that happens. So I imagine very, very soon though.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it. That show sounds amazing, actually. I love all those bands too. So yeah, man, just great to connect with the brothers here from Solar Haze. And thank you so much for spending some time with Ghost Cult and all the best success on this EP and what's coming next. I'm super stoked.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having us on.
Thank you. We had a great time connecting with you too, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Hang in there. Have a good weekend and stay up and stay baked.
Cheers.
There you